Welcome to the first block of the prepare to play phase. Like before, these exercises are going to be stability and mobility based, but for you at home, please select what you think is best because they coexist. Some people need more stability, some people need more mobility, and vice versa. You will benefit from doing both, of course, but if you're hypermobile, something like this, mobility may be less important for you and more stability is needed. This block though is a 4-week block, so we'd like you to repeat these for 4 weeks. This is in conjunction with the return to your sport and trying to keep things kind of regular and not changing too much in transition back. So we start with our stability exercises. The first one is a little bit of challenging momentum, but also kind of repeating on some of the stuff that we did before. And a lot of this will be stood up because we want that toe activation, we want that foot activation in a lot of these exercises. So the first one, you actually hop forward onto one leg and then you will reach, it's a lateral hop on the first one. So we're going to go lateral hop and then we reach and control. I'm going to try and do this slowly. Reach and control, touch off the floor and then come out of it again. So that's really important that you do a little lateral jump. You reach, it isn't like here and we squat down. We're squatting down into the pattern, but then touching our toe and then coming back out of the movement again. So it's not like a squat, it's a squat pattern, but it's not a squat in terms of how we may remember it. It's a reach with our foot, and then we have to come out of it again. Okay, so Sandra's going to demonstrate, a bit better than I will. Yeah, and reach, touch your toe. Again, that contact is minimal contact, so it's just a toe reach. It's not putting much force into that toe. When I get there, I touch my toe and then I come back out of it again. Touch my toe, touch, and then come out of it. Perfect. That's it. And do each side. So stick, rotate, touch, and then come out of it. And each time you're going to try and challenge yourself and challenge your own movement and your ankle, your hip, everything. Your spine is obviously working as well to try and control the motion and try and get as far as I possibly can as well by keeping stable. So it's going to challenge the stability on one leg, and also there's forces going through the body that you have to absorb. Yeah, last one. And this will happen, that's perfect. You're challenging your movement, you're teaching the nervous system to do something that's not done before. And then the next one is forward and back, so you jump forward and then reach your foot to the floor, touch the foot off the floor. Yeah, so same thing in principle, touch and then reach off the floor. Now important thing here is the hip is forward, so we're not going into a squat position and touching, so we haven't done. So yeah, perfect. So you're going to reach forward, touch, again jump, touch, and reach forward. Let's see, then notice the hip is kicked fully forward. Yeah, kick fully forward, good. Now one thing here, just keep the heel on the floor when you do it. Yeah, so hop and then reach. Yeah, so you want to reach but keeping the heel on the floor. You really want to open up that dorsiflexion in the calf there on the other side. Yeah, that's good. Good. So the heel is slightly coming off and that's something she has to work on and controlling all that momentum. That's a good rep, that's perfect. And then can you do it quicker? Can you do it with speed? Good. We don't have to go big jumps here. These hops and sticks are not like our strength and power units. They're just a little bit of a momentum to control the range going forward. Okay, that's good. Now hip stability. Now this is a very, very difficult exercise. So hip stability, transverse rotation. Actually Sandra is quite good on this one. And it's just, the range here is not going to be maximal. It's not going to be huge, right? Because you're training and teaching a pattern that maybe isn't, there's much range in it. And you lose balance, you lose stability. But I want you to practice it. I want you to give it a go. I want you to try your best at it. You're basically a bit like the hip reaching where you reach back, but this time you're reaching at a 45-degree angle. And yes, I want you to touch it and come back, but it's going to be very difficult to control that motion and come back quickly. So your knee will sort of drop to the floor, which is fine because you're challenging now the eccentric component out, and then obviously you come back into it. So that's actually improvement on 1 or 2 reps already. So she's reaching, she's rotating around, she's rotating herself around as well. She's not looking forward and doing the rotation lower limb. She's actually, the whole body's turning around and knees touching the floor. That's a very good demonstration. So if you're anything like this at home, that's an absolutely brilliant execution of the skill that we're looking for. It's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be spot on without control until it's practiced a few times, but from only doing it a few reps, that's a great starting point. It's good, and then you do the other side also. Just do 2 more reps on here, rotating, very good. Yeah, and you rotate with it also. Very good. Okay, that's good. So there are your 3 stability exercises, and now we're going on to mobility. So we're going to need a bench for this stuff. If you don't have a bench, something home, maybe a chair. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but this is probably the gold standard approach if you do have something like this. So the first one you're gonna step on. It's the extension of the hip here, but also a bit of toe off. So when I walk and I run, if you can just watch me for a second, I toe off, right? So see my toes coming off there, but my hip is fully extended. That's what you want. Some people are in flexion. You want extension on toe off. That's what you want, right? So we're replicating this a little bit here, right? So we're going into this movement. Yes, my foot is coming off, and I'm kind of stretching here as well, but I'm also stretching my hip really with toe off. So that's the position I want to be in, and really stretch off that hip as much as I can. And if you feel like I can go more into the stretch, and your toes in contact with the floor, but I'm stretching off my hip in this position here. Okay, just give it a go. And you'll have to adjust yourself. Yeah, so keeping that leg straight, hip is extending now, toes in contact with the floor. Good, so that's a nice good position. And then get into it, hold that stretch for a few seconds. Yep, good stuff. Good, one more rep, one more rep please, yeah. It's important here, just the back foot is kind of straight as well, so just keep that straight, because that's what we want really. We want the toe off to be straight, not externally rotated. Okay, good stuff. Okay, on to the next one, which is our medial one. You remember this? Yeah, so on, yeah, actually other way. So we go on here, foot off here, we're stretching out this groin here, and we're just using the bench then to lower ourselves down, and you should feel all this groin working here. Yep. Yeah, so sit onto this and use the bench. Put your hand on the bench here, because you're working mobility. You feel that groin stretch off here in this position. Yep. Good. Last one, posterior hip stretch. Posterior is a fancy way of saying behind. So at the back, glutes basically. Notoriously tight in so many people. It's maybe why they sit in flexion. Foot at the bottom needs to be straight. Again, a bench like this is preferable. It's hard to do it, and you can still do it, you know, on another surface. But it's best to have a bench. Most gyms have them at this stage. But yeah, so that back leg straight. Important here. The femur's out, so out straight. So if I'm here, look at the angle of my femur. It's not right. I want this to be straight. Hand on for stability. Bottom foot straight. Reach out in front, reaching kind of forward and down on this one. So forward and down. If you can't feel in your glute, then maybe you need to be right under you here, and maybe you need to reach out more forward and front, and you definitely will feel it on your glute here. Okay, so set up like I was. Back foot straight, femur out to the side, hand on, and reach out in front. Perfect, that's good. Good range there, so full flexion of the hip. Stretching out the glute at the back foot is straight, pointed forward. Feel that in your glute? Yeah, good. And that's what we want. And make sure you come fully upright as well. So when you've done, come fully upright, take the load off, and then go again. Perfect. That's good. So there are your 6 exercises for your stability and mobility. Again, like I always say, you may need some from previous weeks. Feel free to put them into your program, but repeat these for 4 weeks now. The block is a little bit longer, just to support you back to your full sport and everything else. Hope you're enjoying it. Keep these in your program. Very important these are done before training to improve the movement of your movement. And if you move better and you go train with better movement, the training effect of that session will increase. Okay, so keep going, stay consistent. Hope you're enjoying the work, and we'll see you again very soon.